519, are you there?
Yeah, hi guys, it's Princess. Sorry.
Hi,
Princess.
Hey girl, I got a really bad cold and I sound like crap. But okay, you know what? I grew up with this kind of thing. With the whole name thing, and okay, originally from what I understand, it was originally Negro. Okay? That meant the slaves that were coming over on the ship. It eventually evolved into Nigger, which was done by the white supremacist groups in the little white caps that would come and kidnap you guys and burn you at the goddamn stake, which is absolutely disgusting as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
But, you know, then it got into, okay, well, it's degrading, let's call them colored. Okay, that's degrading, let's call them blacks. Now we have, you know, we have our blacks, we have our Hispanics, and then we have our Mexicans, and we have our people of yellow.
Hey, girl, you got your TV set on or radio? Because you're getting cut off.
Guys.
That was
it's
another
you guys,
caller.
It's not me.
That was another caller.
I got everything muted. I'm on the phone.
Oh. Okay.
So
we've resolved the issue.
So it's not politically correct to even say, okay, well, you're of yellow creed because you're Asian. You're black because you're black. Like, it's so unpolitically correct to do anything. But the main thing with the nigger thing, I absolutely friggin' hate that word. But the thing is...
Why do you hate that word? Why do you hate it?
Because it's degrading.
No, you hate it because of what was done to it.
It's degrading because why it makes it degrading to me is because the little guys in their white little suits that would come over with their white caps and string people up and burn them on friggin' trees or stakes, called them niggers all the time.
Okay, you should hate the little white guys that done that and not the word nigger. The word nigger is
good point. Bad. Well, also the word nigger. You got to
deal with the South and the East, right? Or the South and the North. They pronounce things differently, so the word got changed slightly. Because
see, Debbie, there is somebody else that you can't get a word in edgewise with.
Yeah.
I love all you guys, and I would never use something insulting on you because I love you and respect you all very much.
It's not insulting to me, you know.
No, I'm going to get out of here before I get hurt. I love you. Bye.
I'm a good nigga, too.
So
I'm not a nigga, though.
No, and it's a degrading name, Deb. It really is. But what I don't understand is with your culture is that they call each other nigger. Yo, nigga, how's it going today?
Exactly.
Well, we can call each other that. But
go ahead, Deb.
You know, I guess it's the terminology and the way that you're using the word that's different. You understand what I'm saying? Two black guys walking up to each other like, yeah, that's my nigga, you know, clapping hands. That's the difference. But I go somewhere and somebody like, look at that nigga bitch over there. You know, Scoop, excuse me?
But why?
That's a derogatory thing, but, you know, or a song where they call, I'm telling you, I don't like the word period myself. I try to stay away from it.
Yeah, if it's a derogatory thing, why is it that they can use it, but no one else can? It should be just completely abolished as far as I'm concerned.
It's not. The thing is, it's not derogatory. You know, the word never did have negative. It didn't originate as a word with negative connotations. Okay,
but seriously, if I walked up to a black person in my town and went, yo, nigga, how's it going today? I would be like, my ass would be kicked. Oh, excuse me.
No, you know, it just depends on who you are and how you're coming and which way you're saying it. You know.
No, it's derogatory. It's
not necessarily derogatory. It never was derogatory. The thing is, 400 years of slavery and brutality and lynchings and killings and murders and slaving and injustice and everything was thrown up on this word to make it bad. But the word can be redeemed. As a matter of fact, the hip-hop community has redeemed the word. Nigga is a good word.
But they've been using it as slang. Like, when you really listen to that hip-hop stuff, they're still using it as a slang word. Like, it's so not cool. It's a horrible, horrible word.
It's not.
That's my personal opinion, of course, but it's disgusting. as far as I'm concerned.
I agree, but it doesn't have a bad connotation in hip hop and this, that, and the other.
Because they're trying to change it.
Call it 425.
They're trying to change it and make it into a positive word, but you can't make it into a positive word when you actually do the research on it and where it originally came from.
I'm saying white people can't make it into a negative word. And you know, even with 400 years, you haven't changed me or made me think this word is horrible and bad. It's not a word for you. It's not a word for you to take out of the English language and put it away. And then when you get mad, you'll whip it out like a switchblade and use it against me. You understand what I'm saying? And cut me up with it.
Yeah, I get that.
Exactly correct.
But what do you? You're a black woman. I'm sorry, that's the word I use, is black or colored. What would you prefer to be called? Do you prefer to be called black? Do you prefer to be colored? Like, what is it that you like people to call you, considering what your race is?
Probably like them to call her by her first name, whatever that is.
Well, yeah, I get that, but I'm talking about the whole entire subject, not
because this is Joey. So you guys know.
Yeah.
I want
Joey.
You guys stuff. You guys were throwing it around, and I'll have to tell you, my mother was one of the whitest women in the world, and my father taught me a lot of racial stuff. But I'll tell you, between the balance of the two, I have had friends of all creeds and colors, and I have never referred to any of it. I don't say, that's my black bro, that's my Mexican buddy, that's my Asian friend. I have never put those connotations on it, and I've always been in a mixed crowd. So, and you know, I totally understand where you guys are coming from about the use of the word, and I do believe that hip hop, in a sense, is reviving it to me, in my eyes, you know, I am not 100% white, but as most people would see me, they'd see a 6'4" white guy. And I would never use the word myself, not even to my best friends that I've had that were black, in the most kindest connotation, just for the fear of, you know, you just never know how that person is truly going to take that. Even if I see other people doing it, I'm not going to do it, you know. And what you guys choose to do with because you are of that race, that is completely up to you. And if you want to use
because we are niggas.
If you want to use the friggin' crap out of the word, then use the friggin' crap out of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. After the show, I'm gonna call my nigga after the show.
He will be waiting.
Yeah, talk to him. You know.
All right, guys. That's all I wanted to say. I'll be listening in.
All right.
But I'm just trying to ask, what's politically correct when you actually are talking about people that are different races? When you want to say, you know, they're this race, what is it that anyone is supposed to say to this day anymore? Because I don't think any of us really know.
Well, they say it's all in the content of how it's used to what it really means. Again, you know, you calling me, you mad at me, and you start calling me all kind of niggas used with some other words, I take offense. You walk up to me and say, hey, my nigga, you know, I don't. And I'm sorry, but it was a controversy with the hip-hop community about this, where it was divided whether they should even use it. That went along with that other word that they didn't want them to use in derogatory respects to women.
Yeah.
So it was a really serious issue with this, and a lot of people stopped using it because the problem is that the white community saw it as a double standard if we're up here saying it all the time and they couldn't say it. But, you know, there are white people, I'm sure, that walk up to black people and say, hey, what's going on, my nigga? And, you know, they're not getting smacked around. But for a lot of black people, and maybe not you, but for a lot of other black people, the use of that word, nigga, would get somebody hurt.
I'm just saying you're giving white people too much power to let them bury a perfectly good word, nigga, just because they threw a whole lot of garbage up on it.
So if you was to be locked up in jail, in chains, you would want a white person beating your ass and say, excuse me, nigga, sit down?
No, I wouldn't want anybody beating my ass.
I'm sorry. I've never used the word, and I don't think I'll ever use the word.
Period.
So I'll let someone else call in now.
Are you there?
What? Yeah.
What? Are you at 425?
No, I am. I'm sitting off to the side here.
Okay, that's hijacker.
Yeah. How you doing, One Iam?
I'll go and I'll let him call. Okay?
I'm good.
Good night, guys.
Take care. Thanks for calling.
Are you there?
Yeah, go ahead, hijacker.
Okay, well, I got my N-word story. You want it straight?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, you got to back up a little bit. My mom died when I was 5, so I went through a lot of boarding schools, reform schools. So I grew up with blacks. And, you know, when you grow up as a child with both blacks and whites, you pretty much see how people are, and everybody's an individual. So pretty much I grew up without any kind of prejudice in me, which black people can pick up, believe it or not. They got a sixth sense. Most white people don't know that, but they can tell just with a tilt of the head, the way a person does a word, the way they look, whether they're prejudiced or not. They don't even got to say certain words. So anyways, I grew up with that. Anyways, so I'm in South Carolina. I had to get out, and, you know, they were putting too much pressure on my family. I thought the only way I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to have to go to Atlanta, make a bunch of money, and then come back and then get my family out. That was the only way. They were sabotaging too many cars, too many jobs. There's no way. So I go to Atlanta. I'm working in Babylonian slave halls. And then I would get these different jobs in Atlanta, which would last a week, 10 days sometimes. As soon as somebody saw how good I worked, I was pretty much guaranteed a repeat, so to speak, what they call it in the business. So this one place was the south of Atlanta. It was the southern part of Atlanta, all black. Now, if you can imagine, here's this white guy with his giant backpack, and I mean, I'm looking like I'm climbing Mount Everest. I wasn't your normal homeless guy. I mean, I went equipped. So I can remember being in that part of Atlanta and looking around, and I was the only white person walking down the street. So I didn't worry too much about it because, you know, as soon as I engaged somebody that was black and I talked to them, you know, they could tell, oh, this guy, he's not a racist. Yeah. So anyways, I had found a bunker through this suburb or these row houses. It was a piece of land. It was one of my deep woods bunker, but I had to walk to it. So I had to walk up this street every morning and every night to get back into these woods where I had built a bunker deep back. It was all black neighborhood. So for the first night or so, when I walked through, you know, there's black guys on the porch or whatever as I'm walking through, and no big deal, just wave or whatever, no problem. But the third night, I walk up and there's 8 or 10 black guys standing right there on the sidewalk in the road, starting to surround me. I says, okay, I'm going to get jumped. I says, I've already thought this through. I had my big money buried where my bunker was, but I had like $60 on me. So I says, well, instead of me getting jumped and getting all beat up or whatever, I'm just going to give them the money, and then it won't be a problem. Then I'll figure out what to do the next day. So the 8 or 10 black guys, I can't remember because I couldn't count because I was pretty nervous. So I take out my money and I said, here, and I hand it to this one guy, and then I step back, and he goes, what's your story, white boy? Because they had saw me a couple of times.
Right.
And I says, well, the rich white niggers in South Carolina, they drove me away from my family, and I'm trying to make some money and go back and get them. And then this one black guy steps out and he says, I'm gonna bust your jaw, you cracker. And he gets ready to pop me. But the leader says, no, don't hit him. You hear what he said? And he goes, what'd you say? I said, the rich white niggers in South Carolina drove me away from my family. He says, rich white niggers? And he looked at me, and I says, yeah. He says, what is that? I says, well, in South Carolina, I met more rich white niggers than poor black ones.
Right.
And he's just looking at me, and you're looking back at these guys like he couldn't believe it. And he says, well, what's a nigger to you? And I said, well, niggers come in all colors. I says, some of those rich ones in South Carolina, they're about as trifling as niggers you can get.
Right.
And then he busts out laughing. He just starts laughing. It just hits him in the head, and then he starts laughing, and everybody else starts laughing. So anyways, we talked a little bit or whatever, and I made friends with him. And he goes, oh, you're all right. You're okay. Go ahead. Go on back to wherever you sleep or whatever. So you got nothing to worry about. So for the next couple of days when I went through, I had guys that offered me Colt 45s, and some of them had smoke. I wasn't doing drugs or anything, but anyways, that's my nigger story. But that's what happened.
Did they keep the money?
But